Have you ever wondered how accountants can sum with criteria attached or get the average with criteria attached? Well, they use the if and the ifs functions to do these things. In this video, we're going to look at sumif and we're going to look at sumifs. Now, both of these functions allow you to sum with criteria attached. The sumif will allow you to sum with one criteria, and the sumifs will allow you to sum with more than one criteria. When you learn to use these functions and understand these functions, you can apply these to other functions that are available in the range, such as the average if and the count if, the max if and the min if. These are aggregation type functions. The same with the sumifs, the if-s functions. We have the max if-s, the min if-s. We have the average if-s. So once you learn to use these basic if and if-s functions, you can apply this knowledge to a whole heap of other functions. So we're going to start by learning how to sum with one criteria attached, and that's using the sumif function. So the syntax for sumif is equal to sumif, open bracket, then it's looking for the range. Now this is the range in which you're going to find the criteria. Then it's looking for the actual criteria, and finally it looks for the sum range. Let's take a look at an example. We want to sum all of the total sales based on the region. So we can see that we have sales for north here, we have sales for north here, down here, and that's about it. Now we can add some filters here to check our answers. So if we go to our data ribbon and we just add in our filters. So now we can check our answers when we do them. So we will start with the sumif, and the sumif is looking for the range. Now this is the range in which you're going to find the criteria. So we're going to find it in the region. So we're going to select the entire column that contains the region. Now, if this was a table, it would auto update if you had additional data in it. So do convert these to tables and work with tables and formulas like this. After this, it's looking for our criteria. And our criteria is the north. And then it's looking for our sum range. Well, our sum range is our total column. Then we can close our bracket and hit enter. Now let's have a look and place a filter, bring up the north, and we can add these up ourselves and we get 3912. Let's change this and see how quickly we can update this. So we get the figures quickly for east, and we have a match when we add the filter on. We have 2857 as the value. So that's how you can use the sumif. Next, we're going to use the sumifs function to sum with more than one criteria. Now, the if-s functions are a little bit more complicated than the sumif function because you're adding in more criteria. The syntax is sumifs, open your bracket, and then it looks for the sum range. After this, it looks for the criteria range 1, and then it looks for the first criteria. Then it looks for the criteria range 2, and then the second criteria. Now the big difference here is that the first range it looks for is the sum range, where in the sumif function, the last range that you put in is the sum range. So let's have a look at this. We want to sum our table, our sales, based on the selected region and product. So because we have two criteria, we're going to use the sumifs function. And first of all, it's looking for the sumifs function. And first of all, it's looking for the sum range. So the sum range is the range in which we are going to add up. Then it's looking for our criteria range 1. Well, our first criteria is going to be our region. So then we need to select our first criteria, which is the region in our drop down. After this, we have criteria range 2, which is going to be our product column, and we're going to look up the product from our drop down. Now we can see here we can add more criteria if need be. Now we can see that if we filter our north products, and we filter these down to product 2, that we can quickly see that the formula is working for us, that we get the same value of 2450. And as we can see, this is completely dynamic and it will update according to our drop downs. Now I'm just going to go in here and put in IFS, because then we can see some of the if-s functions that are available to us. We have average if-s, count if-s, max if-s, min if-s, and sum if-s. So like I said, these are very, very common aggregation functions that people tend to get the values for quite often.